Hey guys, before I start this video off, I just want to say one thing. Today is Wednesday, September 4th, and this is the first weekend of football, especially on Draftkings. What we need to do right now is if this video gets 10 likes, that's it, 10 measly likes, we're going to do a live stream Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern where we go and I take all your questions. We talk to every single person in the chat. We did it last year. We had a lot of fun. I appreciate it. If you guys are here watching right now, please just like the video. Enjoy this video. You're going to get a lot out of it. Appreciate it. What's going on, guys? Cody Marchand from HydeAndZeke.com, and it is officially time for week one lineup builder here on the YouTube channel. Normally, I'll start with the first look lineup at the beginning of the week, but we've been taking way too many first looks. I've dived into this slate way too hard. It's time to get right into the action. That's what you came for. If you're new here, I'm Cody. I make DraftKings videos specifically on DFS. I make specifically DFS videos on DraftKings. Most of the time it's on DraftKings. I know this year I said I'm going to be a little bit more adventurous. I'm going to try to be doing DFS on FanDuel, on Yahoo. I'm going to try to explore, see what's out there so I have a little bit of something for everyone. But today we're on our tried and true DraftKings on a lineup builder. I'm going to take you through possible combination, where my head's at. I'm going to go over my week one DFS value picks article that's going to be linked in the description below. I'm going to go over the new tool live on HydeAndZeke.com right now. Basically gives you all of my research, what I'm thinking on every single player that's available on the slate. And let's just dive into it. On this main slate, we have 12 games, guys. Let's go down to it. Obviously, I'm in the lobby. I'm in an NFL. Sunday featured slate, 12 games. Let's go. Sorry about the pen noise. It's featured slate. Let's just build it on the Millie Maker, right? Go down to draft a team. And the first thing I want to go over, guys, real quick is just if you haven't, like I said, they're both going to be linked in the description below. But a lot of the people I like are right here in my value picks article on HydeAndZeke.com. Basically, I go over each position, I tell you a player, I tell you why I like them, and I give you my week one projection stat-wise for every player. It's pretty helpful. A lot of people tell me it's like one of their favorite things that I do, even more than the videos, but, you know, I'm a video guy, so I'm trying to help you out every way I can. And at the bottom of it, I give you an example week one lineup that I could use. Sometimes it ends up being the same as in the lineup builder. A lot of the times it's not, because I write this article Monday morning or Tuesday morning. Whenever, I forget now that we're in a new season, but whenever the prices come out is the morning I write this, the same morning right before I do my first look. So it's sometimes different by the time it gets to lineup builder, or most of the time, but right now it's going to be pretty similar because I really like this lineup. Also, if you go to the site right here, if you go to HydeAndZeke.com and you go to pre-draft rankings, that's going to be changed to weekly DFS rankings. And see how we have quarterback here, we have running back, tight end, kicker, defense. Don't worry about kicker. That thing doesn't exist. But we have them all ready to go for you. So you can just keep toggling between positions, whatever you need. Obviously, quarterback, basically all I have is the players. I have their price, who they're playing, how much points Vegas thinks they're going to score, and how highly owned they're going to be for me. Normally, they're going to have notes for every single player, but this week was pretty hectic. I had to put out a lot of videos, so I don't have notes on everyone this week. Bear with me. But let's get right into the action, guys. Obviously, if you've been around the channel, you know that there's going to be a video on my favorite quarterbacks for this week, running backs and wide receivers individually. If you haven't checked those out already, please do. A lot of the times they will be before the lineup builder, but after first look. So a lot of the guys that I talked about are still going to be our main guys to work around in our lineup builder. A lot of weeks, what I like to do is have a few guys in mind that I need to play that week, and I'll build my lineup out after that. Or I kind of sometimes reverse engineer that, where I have a few value plays that I think will work that'll open up value in other places, so then I can kind of see who I can get for studs. It's kind of counterintuitive to the way most people do it, where they get their studs in first, 'cause that's who they need to play. But sometimes this really works out for me because I think I find a really good value play, and I build around that. So if I go to defenses this week, there's a lot of great plays. Obviously, I love the Cowboys at home against Eli Manning. Too expensive. Eagles against an awful Washington offensive line right now that is losing Trent Williams. They have Eric Flowers on the other side. That's not good for them. But my favorite play, and it sucks because I love this offense. I think they're going to give up a lot of points. But did you watch the Browns preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Jameis Winston was getting mauled. I love Jameis Winston. I love this offense this season. I think that they put up a lot of points. I think that they score, I think that they're a great offense. But Jameis Winston is my guy, but he's turnover prone. Also, they're going to give up sacks, a lot of them. Nick Bosa, the number 2 overall pick for the San Francisco 49ers. I know it's on the road. I don't play defenses on the road. But at 2,200, this is my favorite play on the slate, I think. And I like starting there, sometimes with defense, sometimes with tight end, sometimes with quarterback, just to get those guys out of the way for me to have a better idea of how much money I'm going to be placing in other spots. But let me just go over a few other of the defenses I liked for the week. I do like paying up for the Ravens. It's not a bad idea. It's not something I normally do, but I can get behind it for sure. Who else up here? Kansas City always puts up points, guys, because the team's always trailing that's playing against them. They have to throw the ball more. More pass attempts is more dropbacks is more sack opportunities. What other defense do I really like? That's kind of where I'm at. Let me go down to defenses, because I know that I had one more, but I think it was just one of the expensive ones. Yeah, it was just the Cowboys. So I really like the San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Dallas Cowboys. Those are really who I'm going to be building my lineups around. And you can see they're all in different price tiers, so you can already tell how much different your lineup's going to be depending on which one you go with. So that's why I like starting with my defense. Do I want to go to tight end or quarterback next? I think I want to go to quarterback just so I can talk to you guys about a few of my plays that I've been thinking about. As you can see over here, I have Wentz as my favorite play of the week, hands down, like by itself. By himself, Wentz is the best quarterback for the dollar for me. I think that, they're a great team at home, huge favorite. I think he's going to put up 3 touchdowns. That's a no-brainer. But to me, another pick I really like is Matt Stafford, and that's because Arizona is going to force them to be a bit more of an up-tempo offense for this week. I think they're going to run more plays, more opportunity. That defense is Swiss cheese. They have Patrick Peterson on suspension. And I think that Stafford comes out firing. And at 5,400, one of my favorite plays is stacking like Stafford with either Marvin Jones or Kenny Golladay. Obviously, Wentz at only $300 more is definitely a better pick, but depending on how you want to get your correlation, if you want to do, Wentz with Zach Ertz, it's an all-right play, but I don't like Ertz as much as I like, say, Marvin Jones with Stafford. So it's good to get that correlation, and cash games is a little bit less important, but just know how your guys are going to get their points, and if they do, who's going to benefit from that. So that's just something to be aware of. Wentz is one of those more independent quarterbacks where he has so much weapons where he can be a great pick on his own. You don't need to stack him with a receiver because he might be spreading the ball out a lot. So he's not one that I always worry about stacking, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Jameis is too expensive. Cam's too expensive. Baker's too expensive. Russell I don't like this week. Jared Goff is fine. Matt Ryan's fine. The first one I really want to talk about is Lamar Jackson at 6K. Great matchup. He's going to get the ball 10 to 15 times on the ground. He's going to get close to 200 passing yards. This could be a great spot at 6K. I don't know if that's where I'm leaning. I like Mark Ingram in this game as well. I think that they just come out and just do whatever they want to Miami. Phillip Rivers, no thank you. Dak Prescott, I really do like at 5,900 at home. Today is September 4th, and we just saw that Zeke did get his deal done. 6 years, $90 million extension, so he might be used more than I thought. Basically, what I was thinking is Dak might get about 5 more pass attempts this game than he normally would with a full complement of Zeke. Zeke comes back, but we don't know if he's going to play his full complement of snaps. So Dak's still a good spot against a not great defense, a lot of youth in the secondary. He's playing at home. He's got a full offseason with Amari. This is a great spot to look this week. It's in Dak Prescott. He has that rushing floor. But there's our better plays a little bit below him. Jimmy G, I do like Jimmy G in this matchup against Tampa Bay. We know how their defense is, but I would rather use one of the San Francisco weapons instead of Jimmy G. I'd rather try to figure out who I think is going to really break out, because I think it's going to be either a running back, a receiver, or a tight end, as opposed to Jimmy G just having like a 3-4 touchdown game. So if you want to attack this game with the San Francisco offense, I would have rather done it with either Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, George Kittle, Dante Pettis, or Deebo Samuel. Even if Marquise Goodwin, which I'm not touching, but that's just where my head's at with that play. Josh Allen I do like, but New York defense should be pretty good. CJ Mosley coming over. Quentin in the middle. Who else we got? Kyler Murray. I almost called him. Oh, Quinnen. I was thinking Quentin Nelson. I was like, it's Quinnen Williams. I was thinking, don't worry about what I was thinking. Quinnen Williams is in the middle there for the Jets. We got Kyler Murray at home in his first debut in this offense. I'm just letting you guys know that at 5,600 with his rushing floor, Kyler Murray will be highly owned on the slate. So if you want to take it as your free space where, I think we're going to have the same play. I think I could beat him at the other spots. Just take Kyler Murray. It's a good value. But if you want to have the edge, you don't think that he's going to live up to his hype, this is a good spot to differentiate is with a different quarterback than Kyler Murray. Specifically, his opponent in Matt Stafford. Kirk Cousins is a good price. It's a pretty good matchup at home. I'm not going to lean that way. I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins guy in fantasy. Foles I do like because he's against the Chiefs, which is going to lead him to pass the ball a little bit more than he normally would. But at 5,300, I still think there's better values. Darnold, I'm a huge Sam Darnold guy. 5,100 at home. It's great, but the matchup is tough. Buffalo is no joke on defense, guys. Andy Dalton, not very happy with. Ryan Fitzpatrick, too tough of a matchup. No protection, no pass catchers, really. Case Keenum, no thank you. The only other guy I want to talk about is Jacoby Brissett at 4,400. Andrew Luck sadly did retire. This guy is their guy. The offense is still stacked, guys. This is a team that I projected to go 14-2 in the regular season with Andrew Luck. And obviously, Jacoby Brissett is no Andrew Luck. But say Andrew Luck had a really bad shoulder and he was 4,400, you'd still think about it. So just think about it that way where he's still got a decent matchup. The Chargers defense is legit, but they're probably going to be down on the road. He's probably going to throw the ball a lot. He's got weapons on weapons. He's got red zone weapons on Eric Ebron. He's got field stretchers in T.Y. Hilton. He's got some speed laterally in Paris Campbell. Just know that Jacoby Brissett at 4,400 is a great play in cash, and I would not be upset about trying to get 15, 16 points out of Jacoby at his salary. But let's just lock in for now Carson Wentz. It's who I like this week. He's my favorite quarterback. That's who I'm going to lock in. From here, I normally do go to tight end. Just kind of how I like to do it, depending on if I want correlation from my quarterback or not and how I'm going to get it. Zach Ertz would be in play for me because I have Carson Wentz, but there's just too many good picks at tight end this week that I'm not looking there. Kelsey's always a beast. Kittle I really do like at 6,600. Look at this. Look at his last game last year. Game log, 9 catches on 14 targets, 150 yards and a touchdown. 33, 14, 8, 37, 13, 23. He was very consistent except for, 3 games. All season, he was just a beast. Obviously, most of that came with Jimmy Garoppolo not as his quarterback. But I think George Kittle is just one of those talents where he's got a great matchup. Like I was saying in this game, when you're trying to think from the San Francisco side of the things, I'd rather take one of the weapons as opposed to Jimmy G himself. George Kittle at 6,600 is a great way to do that. Tight end, maybe not, but think about it. You could really put him in the flex as well because look at who you do have for options down here at their prices. O.J. Howard is one of my favorite to say, just to have him. Let me just put this up in the background while I'm doing something. Boom, go to tight end rankings. I have O.J. Howard at the very top, right? The reason is this is a great matchup against San Francisco. I think that his team total is solid at 25. I think his talent, as you can see in purple, when I did my rankings this season, I have him in the top tier of talent at the tight end position. I'm a huge believer in this offense, like I was saying. I think that Jameis, on the other hand, is kind of opposite of Jimmy G, whereas Jimmy G, I kind of want his weapons, and Jameis, I kind of want him because he has Godwin, Evans, and O.J. Howard, which are all beasts, so he could kind of spread the ball around and still put up 3 touchdowns, but all 3 of them have, say, 1 touchdown, 80 yards on average. Obviously, it's not going to happen that way, but that could be a very likely thing, and you don't get an advantage of taking just the one. You have the advantage of taking Jameis Winston. So as you can see in the top people that I have that I want exposure to at the tight end position, I have O.J. Howard, Eric Ebron, George Kittle, Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry, and Travis Kelce are my top guys. You can go elsewhere, but I don't think that there's a reason to go outside the top tier guys. Hunter Henry at 3,900 is no brainer. Eric Ebron. Let's get to Eric Ebron because everybody wants to hate on Eric Ebron this season because they're calling for regression. They're calling for a worse quarterback play, and I get all that. But the thing is, guys, at 4,100, say you're looking for 3x your money, he needs 12 points. There's really not a player on this slate besides maybe Travis Kelce that's more locked in for a potential touchdown than Eric Ebron. They're still going to be a good offense. They're going to move the ball. He's going to be involved. Jacoby is a good quarterback. He's a lot better than most people give him credit for. This is my tight end this week. I'm going to put him right in. Eric Ebron, lock it in. Evan Ingram is also a great pick this week, guys. Just want to throw that out there. So now you can see we have 6 players remaining. We have to get 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a flex, and with an average of 6,300. That's super easy to do this week. That probably might be more than we need. So coming back to it, we'll get our players that we want, and then we might be able to switch up our defense if we want to. But the first place I want to go is at that running back position. As I told you, Zeke did just sign, so he's on the slate. So basically these first 3, Zeke, Saquon, and McCaffrey, pick your favorite, guys. We don't know if Zeke is going to get his full complement of work. I would say he would, but at 9,200, if that's the difference between me going Zeke and Saquon, I would definitely lean Saquon. Just because of that unknown factor, because you're splitting hairs at that point anyway. Anything that can get you to lean to one side is something I would go for. Saquon's just a bit safer, but those 3 guys, pick who you like out of them. It doesn't really matter their matchup. They are who they are. Take who you want if you want to spend the money. Todd Gurley, everybody's been overreacting about his knee. It is a big deal, but he's still Todd Gurley, right? He's still going to get touchdowns. He's still going to be in on goal line work. He's still going to be utilized in the passing game. He's still probably going to get roughly 15 touches a game at the least. So don't worry about him too much. It's not a great matchup on the road in Carolina, but at 7,900, it's a pretty good price, and it's pretty good differentiating from the top because I bet you Todd Gurley will be pretty low owned in week 1. David Johnson, this is a really tough matchup for him, guys. I understand that this offense could do a lot for him. And if he does score points this week, it will be in the passing game anyway. But this Lions front is legit. It's nasty. Snacks came over last year and just shut things down in the running game. Who else we got? Melvin Gordon not playing. Le'Veon Bell, a beast, 7,100. I think this matchup's a little bit too tough to start him out the gate. The first person I really want to talk about is Nick Chubb, 6,400. Home running back favorite. We know we want to play those guys a lot because they're more likely to run the ball. As soon as he became the full-time starter last year, he had 5 games in a row with 18-plus carries. He's more likely to get more use in the passing game now because Duke Johnson's been traded. Nick Chubb in what could be a top 10 offense pretty easily is one of the best players that they have. And Odell Beckham Jr. coming in to alleviate 8-man boxes could be really big for him this season. 6,400, he's definitely in a smash spot for me. Let me go back to running back. As you can see, I have Nick Chubb and Dalvin Cook as my far and away favorite plays at the position. If you go to my week 1 values at the spot, I think that it's just too easy. Because I was saying that you don't have to go super cheap this week, guys. Just because the way that Draftkings does their pricing, there's going to be so many great values that you don't have to look for bottom of the barrel values at the running back position or at any position. There's just so many great values because Draftkings wants more casual players to be able to afford the players that they want, that you guys can benefit. It makes things tougher to me, honestly, when people are always this good of, when all the people are this good of a price, it makes things tougher for sharps in this game. So that's just one thing to be wary of. Dalvin Cook, also one of my top guys. If you look at just their week 1 projections that I have for both of them, I have Chubb getting more work, 5 more carries, 3 less targets. And so it's pretty much who do you like better between the two? They can both break one off. As you can see, Nick Chubb had the second most breakaway runs last season, I think, in the entire league behind Saquon. Dalvin Cook, in his only preseason game this year, had an 85-yard touchdown. This team wants to run the ball. This team shows you that they run the ball. They're $400 apart. It's kind of pick your poison at this point. I think that Dalvin Cook might be a little bit chalkier just because we do like to play against this Atlanta Falcons defense when it comes to the running back position. They do funnel catches to them often, and 6K is just a great price to attack that with. I think that he's a little bit chalkier. If you don't mind the chalk, eat the chalk, then you can just play him. If not, avoid him just for Nick Chubb. It's a good way to differentiate a little bit. Or if you want to do something crazy, Go to Leonard Fournette for $100 more. Do you want to know the difference between exposure from Dalvin Cook to Leonard Fournette this week? I bet you Dalvin Cook will be close to 40% owned in cash games this week, and Leonard Fournette will be closer to 10% owned. Leonard Fournette has a great matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. They keep saying that he's a better pass catcher this year. They want to get him more involved in the passing game. The Chiefs were a team that we attacked with running backs last season, and I think it's going to be the same thing this year, and he has no threat to carries behind him. Since he came into the league, I have a great stat, I think. Since he came into the league, where is it? Since he came into the league, he's averaged 19.1 carries per game. And you know what he's going to get when he's in there. That's a lot. That's some legit bell cow work right there. Tony Pollard obviously is not involved. He's not going to be one of our people that we consider. One person that needs to be considered might be chalky as well, but Chris Carson at 5,700. This is too easy. Like, look at him his last 5 games of the season last year, besides the playoff game. 14, 15, 30, 26, and 23. He was getting the ball 13 to 27 times a game, averaging 100. Here, I have the stats. I don't know why I keep going back and forth. He was averaging 111 rushing yards in the last 4 games of the season and 1.25 touchdowns per game. They want to be the most run-heavy offense in the league. Besides, maybe Baltimore will give them a run for their money. But this is going to be a team that wants to run the ball early and often. Chris Carson has shown that he is by far the better runner compared to him and Rashad Penny, which hurts me because I'm a huge Rashad Penny guy. They're both going to get work, but Chris Carson could easily see 20-plus touches in this game. I could really see them getting up early and just him having 20-plus carries. And I think that at 5,700, that's where I kind of want to start building my lineup from, is Chris Carson right there. Some other picks to consider, Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson, because there's no Melvin Gordon week 1. Mark Ingram is a great pick at 5,100. Tevin Coleman. Who else do I like? Not Tony Pollard. Darius Geis could be in play. Not really where I want to go. And, my favorite pick. Probably not my favorite pick because I might not need him. But you can open up so much if you get Miles Sanders in there, guys. The rookie out of Philadelphia is in line. If I had to project something, which I did. Here, let me just go to... I said, is he the next Saquon Barkley? Very unlikely. Miles Sanders was the second highest drafted running back this offseason. And everyone's skeptical that Doug Peterson does not want a workhorse running back. He likes RBBC. And I think that's more of a product of who he's had at personnel rather than scheme. And I think that's just, if you look back at Corey Clement, Wendell Smallwood, Darren Sproles, LeGarrette Blount, he hasn't had a true stud like Miles Sanders to be able to maintain, 15-plus touches per game. And I think that if he sees 15-plus touches at 3,900 against a pretty, a team where he's heavily favored at home, I like Miles Sanders a lot. I think that you don't have to take on the risk because it's just such good value. But you can, because look, I can open up 7,100 with their last 4 receivers. So it's just something to be aware of. I'm probably going to replace him because I think that I'm going to take D.B. Westbrook instead as my cheap guy. But we'll see as I go through. Starting at the top of the receivers, I'm not really looking at any of the studs this week. They don't have the best matchups at the top, these 4. And at 8,100, 8,000, 79, 76, I just think that there's better value on the slate, honestly. I'd rather be looking at the Minnesota receivers. I'd rather be looking at the Rams receivers, the Lions receivers, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, and the Tyler Boyd range, including DJ Moore, Mike Williams. So I need to reevaluate right here because I might want to pay up at running back instead. There's just so much we can do. Where can we lock in a lot of targets? I think Tyler Lockett's a good place to start. I think Kenny Golladay is a good place to start. And I think... where can I lock in the most amount of targets in week 1 from up here? Who projects to have the most targets? What happens if I go Mike Evans? And I flex. I can't even flex. Let's go with one of the studs. Let's go with Saquon. Oh, 3,100. Okay. That's fine. Let's go with DD here. And 62. I have a 62. Is that Tyler Boyd? No, it's Jared Goff. I thought I had a 62. Oh, Chris Godwin. Because I didn't go Mike Evans. Okay. So I have Carson Wentz, Chris Carson, Saquon Barkley, Tyler Lockett, Kenny Golladay, D.D. Westbrook, Eric Ebron, Chris Godwin, and the 49ers defense. What did I do differently here? Because I really liked this lineup that I built. I went Carson Wentz, Dalvin Cook, Saquon, D.D. Tyler Boyd, Tyler Lockett, Eric Ebron, and Nick Chubb. Wow, I got Dalvin Cook, Saquon, and Nick Chubb. So basically, I paid up at running back over here. I didn't go Carson. I went... I guess I could go that anyway, right? I can go Chubb. Or I can go Dalvin. I can go Dalvin here. I can go... Can I save at the receiver spot instead of Golladay? Which I probably should. But I don't need to upgrade from Chris Carson to Nick Chubb. I like this right here, what I have, and I have 6,500. Brandon Cooks or Robert Woods. Wow. I think Robert Woods makes this lineup. Carson Wentz, Chris Carson, Saquon Barkley, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, D.D. Westbrook, Eric Ebron, Dalvin Cook, and the 49ers defense. I think that'll do it, guys. I think that's going to be our first edition of Lineup Builder. Obviously, there's other things I can do. If you have any questions I didn't go into, either read the article itself, either go to the site and get this, or do what I really want you to do, which is leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will literally respond to every single comment. If you guys made it this far, I really appreciate it. Like this video. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like, you watch me all the time, but you don't subscribe. Just do me a favor and subscribe. Let's get ready for week 1. And like I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to do a live stream on Sunday morning with all you guys in the chat where I can go over every question you have. If this video hits 10 likes, that's all. I need 10 likes, and if it gets there, we're going to do that live stream. So I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.